Be useful. Just pay $50,000 for my wedding, my sister snapped. I'm not financing my own humiliation, I replied. Great. Pay up and don't come, she wrote. I didn't. But on the wedding day, she used my card without permission. So I sent a special gift for my golden sister. You make six figures and don't even have kids. Be useful for once in your life. Just pay the $50,000. That's how my sister asked me to fund half her wedding. No, please. No, can you help me? Not even a fake attempt to sound nice. Just a cold, sharp command delivered over text like I was her assistant, not her brother. When I didn't respond right away, she followed up 3 minutes later. You're always so stingy. We all know you're loaded. So what's the problem? I stared at the screen for a long time, trying to decide if this was a joke. But I knew better. For as long as I could remember, my sister Amanda had treated me like her personal emergency fund. The only difference now was the price tag. So I replied honestly, I'm not financing my own humiliation. 5 seconds later, the next message popped up. Great. Pay up and don't come. That was the last thing she said to me before her wedding. I didn't go. But she wasn't done with me. On the day of her dream wedding, while I was 3 hours away, eating a burrito in peace and enjoying the silence, my phone buzzed with a fraud alert. It was my credit card company. They flagged a charge for $12,732 at Windswept Estates and Events, Amanda's venue. I called the venue. They confirmed it. She used my card to pay for the open bar and fireworks show. Without my permission. Without even asking. She stole from me. And suddenly, the humiliation wasn't theoretical anymore. She banned me from her wedding and still made me pay for it. But Amanda forgot one thing. I may have been quiet, may have always gone along in the past, but I wasn't the same guy anymore. She wanted a show? I sent her one. The next morning, she opened a box at the gift table, in front of Brian, his parents, her bridesmaids, and about 100 guests. She probably expected jewelry or cash. Instead, she found something else entirely. And for the first time in her life, Amanda couldn't talk her way out of it. You only exist when we need something. That line didn't come from Amanda. It came from my mother. But let's back up. I run a mobile auto detailing and fleet cleaning business. Not glamorous, but steady. Real money started coming in once I built a booking app and hired 3 guys to handle weekend contracts. Schools, trucking companies, even some dealerships. People liked that we came to them, and I liked that I didn't have to explain my job at family dinners. I was finally stable, and that's when the calls started. At first, it was Amanda needing a small loan to get her old car out of impound. Then it was Mom calling on Amanda's behalf because your sister's just going through a rough patch, sweetie. Then the phone bills. Then her half of the rent after she moved back in with our parents for just a few months. It never stopped. At some point, I became the unofficial financial aid office of the family. No application needed, just a guilt trip and a tight deadline. You can't take it with you, Mom would chirp when I hesitated. Brian just got laid off, and Amanda's stressing, Dad added once. And Amanda? She didn't even ask anymore. She informed. Need you to Zelle $600 by tonight, she texted one Tuesday. No punctuation. No greeting. I remember standing in my shop that day, hands covered in grease, staring at the message while my text buffed out scratches on Alexis. She didn't even say please. Later that week, I caught her on Instagram unboxing a $400 Dyson Airwrap. Self-care is so important, she captioned it. Self-care? I was living off Costco sandwiches and fixing air compressors at 10 p.m. I confronted her once. Do you seriously not see the problem here? I asked during a Sunday dinner. You're always flashing your lifestyle online, but asking me to cover your bills like I'm your personal piggy bank. Amanda didn't even blink. Wow. Someone's touchy. Touchy? That was the moment I felt something crack inside. I've sent you over $15,000 in the last 2 years, I said, keeping my voice low because Dad had that don't ruin the meatloaf look in his eye. And you haven't paid back a dime. Amanda shrugged. You make more than me. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? I laughed, not because it was funny, because it was insane. I worked 12-hour days dealing with other people's problems, sometimes literally. Amanda, and you treat me like I'm made of money. That's when Mom chimed in. Her voice sweet as syrup, smile tight as a noose. Don't be so bitter, honey. You're the reliable one. She just needs a little help. I stared at her. And I said it. I actually said it. Do you even like me? Or do I only exist when someone's rent is due? Silence. Even Dad paused his chewing. Amanda snorted. You're overreacting a lot these days. I got up and left the table. That wasn't the first time I walked out. but it was the first time I meant it. 2 weeks later, Amanda called again. I ignored it. Then came the voicemail. Look, I wouldn't be asking if it wasn't urgent. Brian's car broke down, and we're down to one vehicle. You don't want us stranded, right? No apology. No explanation why Brian couldn't ask me himself. Just the usual mix of panic and passive aggression. I didn't call back. The next day, Mom called. I know you're upset, she began, but Amanda's family. And family shows up, especially when they're in need. You mean like when I had to sleep in my car after Dad refused to co-sign my lease? Silence. Then she sighed. That was different. Of course it was. Everything was always different when it was about me. Amanda could max out her cards on custom napkins and hand-poured soy candles and get bailed out with a group hug and a Cash App request. I could be struggling through burnout, covered in engine oil, sleeping 3 hours a night, and all they saw was a guy with no kids and no real expenses. They never asked if I was okay. They just assumed I was their safety net. Amanda once said, "You're lucky you don't have our problems." I wanted to scream. My luck was earned. I built everything from the ground up. They never saw the 4 a.m. client calls, the blown-out rotator cuff from scrubbing van floors, the panic attacks I had the year the shop flooded. All they saw was my bank balance. So when Amanda sent that message, the one that started it all, I wasn't even surprised. You make 6 figures and don't even have kids. Be useful for once in your life. Just pay the $50,000. Useful. That was the word that stuck in my chest like a splinter. Not, can you help me? Not, would you be willing? Just be useful. Like I was some vending machine she kicked whenever she wanted a payout. The thing is, I almost did it. I stared at that message for hours. Thought about how saying no would create hell. Knew Mom and Dad would jump to her side. Knew they'd call me cold. Knew Brian would look at me like I'd ruined their marriage before it began. But then I remembered something Amanda once said at dinner, laughing. You're just a walking wallet sometimes. That was the truth. And I was done pretending it wasn't. She used my card. Without permission. Without a message. Without a flinch. I found out 3 days after the wedding, while standing in line at a gas station mini-mart. My phone buzzed with a fraud alert. I almost ignored it. But something made me check. Suspicious charge, $12,732.53. Windswept estates and events. I stared at the screen, my fingers suddenly ice cold. That was Amanda's wedding venue. I knew exactly what this was. I stepped outside and called the venue. Hi, this is Eric Walker. I believe a charge may have gone through on my card. The woman on the line was cheery and oblivious. Oh yes, Amanda Walker took care of that payment Saturday evening. Beautiful reception. Open bar, live quartet, the fireworks finale. Just magical. I swallowed hard. You said Amanda authorized it? She used your card. It was already on file from the earlier planning stages, so it didn't raise any flags. I didn't respond. My jaw clenched. My throat burned. She had blocked me from her wedding, told me not to come, then used my card to pay for it. She didn't ask, didn't warn me, just took, like she always had. But this wasn't rent money. This wasn't groceries. This was 12 grand in complete humiliation. I didn't call her. I didn't scream into the phone. I planned. The gift was delivered the morning after the wedding. A tall, white box, wrapped in silk ribbon and sealed with gold wax. It looked like luxury. It was luxury, in design only. Inside the box was a glossy white photo frame, a black velvet envelope, and a single matte black card with a QR code. The envelope read, "For Amanda. Since I wasn't allowed to attend, I figured I'd join the party anyway. E." On the card, beneath the QR code. "Scan me, babe. The real gift's inside." I knew her. I knew how her mind worked. She'd think it was a peace offering, a last-minute apology, a condo key, a check. She'd open it publicly, because Amanda never wastes a spotlight. And I was right. The guests were still drinking espresso martinis when Amanda spotted the box. She squealed like a teenager. "This is from Eric. Look at this thing. He finally did something right." Brian raised an eyebrow. "You sure? He worships me deep down," she grinned. "Probably a check for 50 grand. She dragged the box toward the sweetheart table. Her voice rose over the music. "Everyone, let's open my brother's mysterious gift together, shall we?" Phones came out. The DJ lowered the volume. The air tingled with anticipation. Amanda pulled out the envelope, scanned the QR code on the card, and, with a dramatic flourish, tapped Cast to Screen. I'd hoped she would. The video began. Scene 1, a screen recording. Text from Amanda. Don't come. 3 seconds later. You've spent $12,732 at Windswept Estates and Events. Scattered laughter. Guests shifted in their chairs, glancing around, unsure whether this was real or scripted. Scene 2. A grainy video in a bar. Amanda, holding hands with a man who is not Brian. She leans in, kisses him. He kisses her back. They laugh. Whisper. Timestamp. For weeks before the wedding. Silence. Someone dropped their fork. A glass clinked. Brian was frozen. Scene 3. A final black screen. White text. Congrats, Brian. She married you. But she was someone else the whole time. Then the video cut. Amanda stood there frozen, still holding the phone. Her face went pale, then gray. Her breath caught in her throat. Brian stood up. Slowly. Amanda, what did I just watch? She stammered. It's nothing. A mistake. I didn't mean for. Who is he? Brian's voice cracked. You said all the drama with your brother was because he was jealous. That he ruined things. Brian, I can explain. Did you cheat on me? Silence. His jaw tightened. His hand trembled as he reached up and pulled off his wedding ring. He laid it on the cake table like a dead weight. You told me you were honest. That you were done with games. I married a stranger. Then he turned and walked out. Amanda screamed after him, voice shrill and cracking. Brian, don't do this. It was just one night. You can't walk away from me. But he didn't turn around. He didn't even look back. I watched all of this from a quiet cafe nearby. A friend had gone live on Facebook. Someone tagged me. Comments poured in by the second. No way this is real. She cheated. Dude. That gift was brutal. Eric is my spirit animal. I didn't feel proud. I didn't feel smug. I felt released. For the first time in my adult life, Amanda didn't get away with it. And no one could spin it. No one could cover for her. No one, not even Mom, could pretend I was the problem. The next day, I hand-delivered one more envelope. No glitter. No wax seal. Just a plain manila folder. Inside, a printed copy of the police report I filed. A fraud case. Credit card theft. With screenshots, statements, and IP logs, all leading straight to Amanda. She opened the envelope in silence. You didn't, she whispered. Oh, I did, I said. And unless I get every cent back, you're going to learn what it's like to fund your own chaos. Her eyes welled up. But I'd seen those tears before. They didn't move me anymore. She tried one last line. You're my brother. No, I said, stepping back. I was your bank. And just like that, the account was closed. She lost a husband, a wedding, and a family portrait in one night. I lost nothing but weight. The silence was deafening. For the first 3 days after the wedding, I didn't hear a thing. No calls. No texts. No guilt-trip voicemails. Just glorious, echoing nothing. And then the storm. It started with my mother. Of course it did. She showed up at my place, flanked by 2 plastic grocery bags and 1,000 pounds of disappointment. I opened the door. She didn't even say hi. She just walked in like she still had the right. How could you do that to her? She snapped, slamming the bags on my counter. Do what, exactly? I asked calmly. Expose the truth? Demand repayment for a stolen card? Not sit quietly while she mugged me in front of a fireworks display. You humiliated your sister in front of everyone. On her wedding day. She hasn't come out of her room in 3 days. I raised an eyebrow. She's lucky she's still in her room, and not in a holding cell. Mom stared at me like I'd grown horns. You are not pressing charges. Oh, I'm not. I asked. You think I filed a fraud report because I was bored? She's your sister, Eric, and I'm your son. But I guess one of us has always been expendable. That shut her up for 2 full seconds. You're cruel, she finally hissed. We raised you better than this. No, I said. You raised me to shut up and pay for everyone else's mess. I finally broke pattern. The next call came from Dad. It wasn't much better. You've always been the mature one, Eric, he began. But that stunt? That was petty. Dad, she stole from me. I know. But, did you really have to go public with it? Yes, I said, without hesitation. Because if I'd kept it private, you all would have swept it under the rug like every other time. Silence. Then, you embarrassed us. I laughed. That's the difference between you and me. I felt embarrassed when my bank flagged a $12,000 charge I didn't make. You felt embarrassed when your golden child finally got caught. He didn't say another word. Amanda texted 2 days later. From a different number. I get it. You made your point. Now take the video down. I didn't answer. 10 minutes later. You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. Then, oddly, can we at least talk? Just you and me. No yelling. Please. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Then I blocked the number. Online, the video went semi-viral. Someone had posted a blurry recording of the reception screen to TikTok with the caption, "Bride gets exposed mid-wedding by her brother. This is savage." Within 48 hours, it had 220K views. In the comments, "She deserved it. Justice for the brother LMAO. Amanda, sis, you played yourself." She deactivated her social media by day 3. Brian's sister posted a short note online. "We support our brother. Betrayal isn't love." No further comment. It got 15,000 likes. I thought that would be the end of it. But then came the call from Kelly, Brian's ex. We'd spoken maybe twice in 5 years. "Eric. Hey, wow, hi. Didn't expect this." She laughed. "Yeah, look, I just wanted to say. I saw the video, and I don't know if this means anything, but I'm proud of you." I blinked. "You are. You did what everyone else was too scared to do. You set fire to the circus." Amanda had it coming. For years. That meant something. More than I expected. I didn't feel victorious. But I felt clear. No more guessing where I stood. No more, "You're the mature one," gaslighting. No more ATM relationship in sheep's clothing. Just space. For once, my silence was the powerful one. I went back to work. Took on 2 new fleet accounts. Booked a weekend away for myself. No guilt. I didn't send anyone a postcard. I bought myself a new laptop with the refund Amanda finally wired under pressure from my lawyer. And I labeled the bank transfer. From Amanda Walker. Memo. For theft. I laughed so hard I cried. They thought I'd crawl back like I always did. This time, I let the bridge burn and warmed my hands by the fire. For most of my life, I was the one who showed up. Not because I was noble. Not because I wanted praise. But because I thought it was what decent people did. You show up when your sister's rent is late. You show up when your parents can't cover everything right now. You show up when the baby needs diapers, when the car gets towed, when the lights go out. And you shut up about it. Because the second you say something, even quietly, they look at you like you're the problem. Like helping was a contract you signed without reading. Like saying no is the betrayal, not the endless, one-sided taking. After the wedding fallout, I didn't just get silence from them. I got anger disguised as confusion. Hurt disguised as guilt. Control disguised as family concern. "I just don't understand why you're being so harsh." She was just under pressure. This isn't like you. But it was. This was like me finally. Not the version of me they built, quiet, useful, invisible, but the real one. The one who got tired of being the support beam in a house built entirely on his back. I cleaned up my finances. I changed every password. I removed every save card. I wiped my Zelle history like I was cleaning up after a big mess. I made it impossible for them to reach in again, financially, emotionally, digitally. Amanda tried. Oh, she tried. At first, it was deflection. "You didn't have to ruin everything just to prove a point." Then, anger. "You embarrassed me in front of 150 people." I didn't respond. Then came the crocodile face. "I miss my brother. You were my best friend." That one almost got me. Almost. But then I remembered the way she looked into a camera on a night she told me not to come and spent $12,732 of my money like it was Monopoly cash. And just like that, the fog cleared again. Mom, meanwhile, tried her own brand of psychological warfare. Passive posts on Facebook about family division, guilt trip memes, Bible verses, quotes like, "The one who walks away is often the one who cared the most." Ironic. She never walked away from Amanda. Only from me, when I finally demanded to be treated like a human being instead of a rechargeable debit card. I used to fantasize about what peace might feel like. I imagined it as silence, solitude, emptiness. But that's not what it is. Peace is margin. It's waking up and knowing no one's about to text you, "Can you send $300 real quick?" It's looking at your phone and feeling nothing. No fear, no dread, no obligation. It's sitting in a quiet apartment, drinking coffee you paid for with your own clean-earned money, and realizing, no one owns a piece of me anymore. I still miss the idea of a family. I miss the brother I thought I was to Amanda. The son I thought I was to my parents. The role I convinced myself mattered, because I was needed. But I don't miss being used. I don't miss that gnawing pit in my stomach every time my phone buzzed and I thought, what now? I don't miss covering my sister's lies with my own money and silence. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. I got an email from Brian. Subject: You were right. Body: I should have seen it sooner. You did me a favor. I'm not mad. I'm grateful. I got out before she could turn me into what she turned you into, silent and broke. At the bottom: If you ever want to talk, beer's on me this time. And just like that, something shifted. Not because I needed validation. Not anymore. But because it was the first time someone acknowledged the truth out loud. No denial. No gaslighting. No, but she's family. Just facts. I went running the next morning. Not to escape anything. Just because my legs worked. Because I finally had the bandwidth to care about oxygen, sweat, and sunshine. I ran past houses with happy families. Yards with bikes in the grass. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was on the outside looking in. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Alone. Clear. Free. They say you can't choose your family. Maybe that's true. But you can choose who you keep close. You can choose who gets to use your name, your time, your heart. You can choose who gets access to the softest parts of you. The parts they will trample if you let them. And I finally chose me. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the ATM. I'm not the silent one. I'm not the fixer. I'm not the mature one who keeps everything together while drowning. I'm the man who said enough. And if that makes me the villain in their twisted version of the story, so be it. Let them tell it however they need to sleep at night. Because I sleep just fine.